The Council Hall of the Galactic Union was a cathedral of light and silence. 12 great thrones hung in a ring, suspended over an abyss, each throne carved from the minerals of its homeworld, glowing with the symbols of alien civilizations older than Earth's sun. The chamber's air was heavy, humming with the energy of thousands of minds connected across the void. And in the center of that impossible room stood a single man, Captain Elias Tay of the United Earth Fleet. His uniform was torn at the shoulder, his eyes bloodshot, his skin pale from months without proper rest. But he stood straight, every word heavy with the weight of his dying world. "Members of the Galactic Council," he began, voice echoing through the vastness. "The Devourers are 3 months from Sol. You've seen what they are. You've watched them erase entire civilizations. They leave nothing, not even dust. We ask for help, not charity, not pity. Help for allies who have stood by you since the beginning." The delegates shifted. Some avoided his gaze, others stared with unreadable expressions. The air shimmered as they whispered telepathically among themselves. From the highest throne, High Arbiter Velmos of the Veyari spoke at last. His voice was calm and cold as frozen glass. "Captain Tay, the Council has considered your request. We cannot risk our fleets again. The Devourers are beyond control, beyond logic. To fight them is to invite extinction." Tay took a step forward, fists clenched. "You mean to let them destroy us? We fought beside you at Lanthair. We bled at the siege of Varn. We held the line while your own fleets ran." "Earth is young," Velmos replied. "Brave, yes. Passionate, but you are not yet essential. The Union cannot jeopardize its core worlds for a frontier species." The words hit like gunfire. "Frontier species," Way repeated, voice cracking. "Is that all we are to you?" Velmos's eyes gleamed like twin shards of moonlight. "You are a reminder of what we once were. Reckless, fragile, emotional. You fight with fire, but fire burns out." Tay's throat tightened. "And when the fire is gone," he said softly, "what warmth will be left in your galaxy?" No one answered. The vote was cast. 11-1. Aid denied. Hours later, the corridors of the Union Spire were empty. The vast capital world, trillions of lights beneath a glass sky, felt colder than space. Tay walked alone through the dim tunnels until he reached the docking bay. Dr. Una Park was waiting there, a pale blue data crystal clutched in her hands. She had been part of the diplomatic mission, the scientific attaché who believed in the dream of interstellar unity. But her eyes now were full of rage. "They won't help," she said flatly. "No," Tay replied. "Then we help ourselves." She handed him the crystal. "Union defense grids, ship blueprints, weapon algorithms. I took them before they locked me out." Tay stared at her. "That's a death sentence. They just gave one to our entire species," she said. "I'm only returning the favor." When they returned to Earth, the sky was filled with evacuation vessels. The cities were dark ration lines stretched for miles. Every news channel carried the same message: prepare for impact. In the underground bunker of the United Earth Defense Command, the room was silent, as President Suan stood before a holographic map of the Sol system. The Devourer swarm, billions of signatures, crawled steadily inward. "Estimated arrival, 87 days, said one of the officers. Tay stood beside her. The Union refused. No one spoke. The silence lasted a full minute before the President lifted her head. "Then we fight alone." Her voice trembled only once, then steadied. "If we must burn, we will burn bright enough to light the galaxy. Let them see us." Those words spread faster than light. Across the colonies of Mars, Luna, Titan, Europa, and the asteroid belts, humanity's despair hardened into fury. The factories of Mars never slept. Once meant for mining and agriculture, they now forged war machines under blood-red skies. Engineers turned refineries into shipyards, and freighters became makeshift battleships. Colonel Hana Kim oversaw it all from the control tower, her face illuminated by orange light. "We don't have enough plasma cores," her assistant said. "Then rip them from the civilian grids," Hannah replied. "Cities can live in the dark. Soldiers can't fight without power." On Luna, Commander Jun built a defense grid of orbital cannons and railguns that could tear holes through moons. "How long can it hold?" someone asked. June looked at the holographic projections, the endless red tide moving closer. "Not long," he said quietly, "but long enough to make them bleed." In hidden labs beneath Kyoto, Una Park and her team studied captured fragments of devourer biotech, twisted organic metal pulsing like muscle. "It's a neural colony," Una said. "Billions of organisms sharing a single consciousness. If we break that link, the swarm collapses." Her colleague frowned. "That's impossible. Their network adapts faster than we can think." "Then we make it think too much," Una said. "Give it something it can't process itself." And so Project Mirror began, a weapon not of destruction, but reflection, a data virus that would force the hive mind to experience its own thoughts until it tore itself apart. Weeks passed. Humanity worked like a dying star, burning brighter as it faded. Children were evacuated to the deep shelters of Antarctica. Artists painted farewell murals on the walls of collapsing cities. Soldiers volunteered, knowing they would never return. And in orbit, the Sol fleet assembled 1,000 ships, held together by defiance and desperation. Admiral Wu, commander of Earth's last line, stood on the bridge of the carrier Aegis. "Every ship that can move, move," he said. "Every gun that can fire, fire. This is it." The Devourers arrived at Neptune's orbit. They came as a living storm, colossal vessels of bone and sinew, larger than mountains, glowing with bioluminescent veins. They moved without sound, but every human sensor screamed at their presence. "Contact," whispered a voice on the comms. The first salvo came from the Martian gun arrays. Plasma beams ripped through the darkness, cutting into the swarm. The Devourers screamed not through sound, but through the network, a psychic wail that made human minds bleed. Tay commanded the Resolute, a heavy cruiser at the front. His crew, mostly volunteers, some barely out of training, worked in silence. "Target the cores," V ordered. "The bright spots, that's where they think." Missiles streaked through space. The first Devourer exploded in a rain of blood and fire. The second rammed a destroyer and consumed it whole. The line wavered. On Mars, entire shipyards were vaporized. On Europa, the garrisons fought hand-to-hand in freezing corridors, venting the domes to space to stop the infiltrators. And still, humanity held. Una watched the battle unfold from Luna Base. The mirror core was ready, glowing in the chamber like a beating heart. But someone had to carry it into the swarm. Admiral Wu turned. His nephew, Lieutenant Young Park, stood at attention. "I'll go," he said. Wu hesitated. "You know what that means?" Young smiled. "Someone has to." He took a captured Devourer craft, a living ship, its controls half organic, and flew straight into the storm. His vessel vanished among the enemy, swallowed by the darkness. Inside the swarm, he felt their thoughts crawling through his mind. Hunger, pain, endless desire to consume. His nose bled, his skin blistered. He clutched the mirror core against his chest. "Let's see how you like the taste of yourselves," he whispered. He placed the device at the central node, a sphere of pulsing light, and triggered it. The swarm screamed. Across the void, Devourer ships convulsed. They turned on each other, attacking without reason. The psychic network imploded. Beasts tore themselves apart, their minds shredded by chaos. From Earth to Pluto, the night sky burned brighter than any dawn. The war ended not with victory, but with silence. The Sol system was half ruined, Mars fractured, Luna scarred, Earth wounded. But it lived. Humanity had done what no one believed possible. Admiral Wu stood before a memorial wall carved into the side of Mount Tsukuba. 50,000 names glimmered beneath the cold light. At the very top, Lieutenant Young Park. "You were right," Wu whispered. "It was worth it." Months later, the Galactic Council reconvened. The chamber was rebuilt larger, emptier, colder. At its center stood Una Park, wearing a simple black uniform with a silver crest, the emblem of Earth. Velmos spoke first, voice stripped of arrogance. Ambassador Park, on behalf of the Union, I offer our apologies. Earth has proven its worth. We invite your people to rejoin the Union as partners. Yuna's gaze was hard. Partners? You left us to die. Velmos bowed his head. We misjudged humanity. She stepped forward. No, you revealed yourselves. And now the galaxy will remember us not as servants, not as children, but as equals. If the Union wants our hand, it will take it as we are, tempered by fire. The chamber fell silent. For the first time in its long history, the Council did not speak, because they knew she was right. Years passed. Earth rebuilt. New cities rose from the ruins, taller and stronger, powered by hybrid human-alien technology. The sky over Tokyo shone with defense satellites, and the oceans glowed with floating cities. Children grew up studying the Devourer War, learning not of despair, but of defiance. Humanity's anthem became a vow. We stood alone, and we stood. The fleet expanded beyond Seoul, not for conquest, but for vigilance. The Resolute 2 was launched in honor of those who never returned. And on the anniversary of the war, Yuna stood at the memorial once more. Admiral Wu, old and frail now, joined her. He'd be proud, he said softly. Yuna looked up at the stars. He already is. Beyond the horizon, the first colony ships departed, not fleeing this time, but exploring. Humanity was no longer a frontier species. They were the fire the galaxy had forgotten, and as the stars stretched before them, endless and bright, the universe finally understood. When every other race turned away, humanity stood. When every ally fell silent, humanity spoke through courage. When the galaxy declared them expendable, they became eternal. And in the depths of the void, long after the devourers were dust, the echo of that defiance still burned bright as the first dawn of a new age. The age of humanity had begun.